Alright, welcome back to another episode of the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. And this is your WWE news for that happened since January 7th, I believe. Okay, we've got January 7th from Augusta, Georgia, my hometown, where I grew up and went to school. U.S. title match, Daniel Bryan defeated Primo and Ted DiBiase in a triple threat. R-Truth pins Alberto Del Rio. Yoshitatsu defeated Zack Ryder. Tag title match, Santino Marella and Vladimir Kozlov defeated the Usos. David Hart Smith defeated Tyson Kidd. Gail Kim and Tamina defeated Alicia Fox and Maurice. CM Punk with Nexus beat Mark Henry. John Morrison beat Sheamus in an Augusta street fight. The Miz with Alex Riley beat Randy Orton to retain the WWE Heavyweight Championship. Okay, on the 8th, WWE Tag Team Champions Santino and Vladimir defeated the Usos. Yoshitatsu defeated Zack Ryder. Ted DiBiase defeated Primo. The Bellas defeated Maurice and Alicia Fox. The Miz defeated Randy Orton. Okay, Randy Orton defeated Alex Riley. I guess he had double duty that night. D.H. Smith defeated Tyson Kidd again. CM Punk defeated Mark Henry. John Morrison defeated Sheamus in a street fight. Alright, on the night, the Raw House Show. Results from Memphis, Tennessee, being last night. Daniel Bryan over Ted DiBiase and Primo in a three-way. Santino, Marella, and Vladimir Kozlov over the Usos yet again for the third day in a row. Yoshitatsu over Zack Ryder. The Bella Twins and Caitlyn over Maurice. So the SmackDown former NXT member tag team with the Bella Twins defeated Maurice, Alicia Fox, and Gail Kim. And speaking of Gail Kim, she's been playing the heel lately. Somewhere on YouTube there was a post that they did a video where she's doing. There was a comment that she was playing a better heel than she was as face. All right, next match was Jerry Lawler and Mark Henry over CM Punk and Husky Harris. The Miz over Randy Orton. Orton over Riley to get his heat back. D.H. Smith over Tyson Kidd and John Morrison over Sheamus. So 2 nights in a row, Randy Orton had 2 matches. Alright, former NXT rookie is back with FCW. And she's doing a heel character right now. And AJ Lee is back in WWE Developmental, and she's playing a heel character. Okay, WWE returns to Mexico May 11th. Multipurpose Center in Hermosillo. May 12th, VFG Arena in Guadalajara. May 13th, Sports Palace in Mexico City. May 14th, also Monterrey in Monterrey. Former WWE star Cliff Domino Compton from the tag team of we call it 50s characters. He wins the OVW heavyweight title over the weekend at the Davis Arena. So congratulations to him on his new title as OVW champion. Alright, Raw results from tonight. There was an announcement made of Hall of Fame, the first Hall of Fame inductee being announced later on, and I'll give that to you later. Raw started off with a Nickelback themed opening video. Michael Cole, welcome to Raw from the Bridgeport Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. As the WWE Tag Team Champion Santino Marella start off, and Nexus comes down and takes them out, and CM Punk says, "Your match is now rescheduled for a later date." Okay. Nexus charges the ring and they beat them all down. Husky Harris, Justin Gabriel, Michael McGillicuddy, David Otunga, and Heath Slater clean house, and CM Punk makes his way to the ring. Yada yada yada. I just told you about it's being rescheduled. Punk says Nexus has the most dominant force WWE has ever had, but there's a surprise. They have to be initiated into the new Nexus. Okay, they're wearing their brand new Nexus shirts with a fist with a circle around it from CM Punk's Straight Edge Society gimmick. And Punk tells them that they can he can give them the tools to succeed. Unlike Wade Barrett, Punk talks about taking Cena out a few weeks ago and says he will be here to speak tonight. Crowd chants for Cena. Punk says Cena's days of hustle, loyalty, and respect are over, while his are just beginning. Punk announces that he will initiate himself as the new leader of the new Nexus tonight. Punk says he won't be the only this will not be the only initiation tonight. Other Nexus members prove to everyone tonight that they have what it takes to belong to the new Nexus. Punk says they will be at their apex of power and will take over not just Raw but the entire WWE. David Otunga says he would be honored to be initiated into the new Nexus tonight. Punk says the honor will be his. Punk starts off with McGillicuddy getting his initiation. Punk says Nexus is famous for their group beatdowns, and they beat down McGillicuddy. Okay, Punk then tells Husky to start the beat down. Husky faces McGillicuddy, just stares him down for about a minute or so. Otunga then turns to McGillicuddy and spine buster. Slater hits his finisher also. Husky is still staring at McGillicuddy. Husky runs the ropes and hits his big senton on McGillicuddy. They drag him over to the corner, and Gabriel hits the 450 after hesitating for a moment. Punk drops to one knee as the Nexus members put McGillicuddy's body on his shoulders. Punk hits a GTS. Punk looks at McGillicuddy, who is knocked out, and leaves the ring as the Nexus music hits. Other members follow as well, and then they go to replays. Punk walks up the ramp as Nexus walks behind him with McGillicuddy's body on their shoulders. They go to commercial. R-Truth versus Alberto Del Rio. Back from commercial, out comes R-Truth to the ring. Ricardo Rodriguez is introduced, and he does the intro for SmackDown's Alberto Del Rio, who is now on Raw. Del Rio comes driving out in a Bentley. Truth charges, but Del Rio moves. Truth connects with right hands, and they go at it. Truth takes it to the corner, hits a bunch of right hands. Del Rio brings him out to the corner, an atomic drop. Del Rio with two knees to the back and a 2 count. Rio misses a clothesline, and Truth takes him down with a head scissors, then a clothesline. Truth clotheslines himself, and Del Rio over the top to the out to the floor. Referee begins to count. They trade right hands. Rodriguez comes over and starts yelling, "What's up? What's up? What's up?" Truth turns around, drops Rodriguez with a right hand. Del Rio makes it back in the ring in about the 8 count. Truth, I saw it. He actually made it at the 10 count, but the referee says no. So Rio wins by count out. Okay, after the match, Rio takes a mic and declares the victory. Rio says that his destiny is to win the Royal Rumble and headline WrestleMania. Del Rio starts talking about Nashville and insults the people's music being country music. He knows about music and the culture in Mexico. Rio wants Ricardo to do mariachi, but he protests. Music hits. Ricardo sings and dances. They go to John Cena graphic on Hype for Sheamus. Hype for Sheamus and versus John Morrison later on tonight. Ricardo continues to sing. They go to commercial. He was singing La Cucaracha, La Cucaracha, da 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 da. Boring as hell for a minute and a half to me. Back from break, they show a clip of The Miz attacking Jerry Lawler a few weeks back. Lawler says he is still sore from that. Cole says Randy Orton won't be able to take the WWE title from The Miz. Cole tells Lawler he needs to apologize. Email alert goes off. Michael Cole steps up to the podium to read the GM's crappy mail, even though everybody knows he's emailing himself and what have you. And so Cole then talks about himself. He says, and I quote, the GM calls Cole a conceited, pompous, arrogant, self-centered, pretentious jerk. Then Cole says, just kidding, and reads another message, putting himself over. Sounds like he's making this up now. Lawler has had enough. Interrupts him on the mic. Thank you, Jerry the King Lawler. Lawler comes back and says he just received an email from the entire WWE Universe and tells him to shut up. Lawler calls Cole a coward. Cole says Lawler will be fired if he touches him. Because Jerry the King Lawler then walks up to him, shuts the laptop, and walks away. Email alert goes off again. Cole says, well, it still works. GM doesn't think he's a coward, and neither is Lawler. Lawler and Orton versus The Miz and Alex Riley is announced for tonight. Quoted from the Raw GM. Then we see CM Punk backstage with Nexus. Husky Harris is up to be initiated next. Punk brings out whips, which is actually belts, not whips, and says Husky must take 3 lashes from every Nexus member. Husky accepts and turns his back. Punk then tells him to take off his shirt, and he does. Otunga whips Husky first. Gabriel whips Husky 3 more times, but he hesitated. He didn't actually want to do it. Punk orders them to lift Husky up. Punk unleashes and whips him 8 times, repeatedly. Then they go to commercial. Daniel Bryan and Mark Henry versus Tyson Kidd and Ted DiBiase is up next. Back for commercial. Both teams are already in the ring. Ted and Bryan start the match off. I had went to the bathroom at that time, and I caught it almost through the end of the match. Bryan took control early on and unloaded with kicks. Ted turns it around by throwing Bryan to the floor. Kidd comes over and kicks Bryan. While the ref's back is turned, Ted brings Bryan back in for a 2 count. Kidd comes in and goes to work on Bryan, beating him down in the corner. Ted tagged back in and keeps control of the United States champion. Bryan makes a comeback and tags in Mark Henry. As Kidd comes in, Henry runs right over Kidd. Henry charges for a big splash in the corner, but Kidd moved. Ted comes in and tried a double drop kick, but it did not drop Henry. Henry takes them both down and hits the world's strongest slam on Kidd for the win. They hype for tonight's tag team main event. Then they show Big Show backstage walking around, and they cut for commercial. After the break, NXT recap video. Blah blah blah. Out comes SmackDown star. Big Show makes an announcement that he's entering the Royal Rumble. Show smiles and he enters the ring. He says he's great to be back here on Raw. And thanks to the general manager to have some fun. Show addresses Wade Barrett first. Show says he's going to knock Barrett out this week on SmackDown. Shows talk about the Royal Rumble next. And lets every superstar that they are on notice. Show says he's coming to the Rumble and not playing games. Nexus music hits, and out comes CM Punk. He's Slater David, Otunga, and Jessica Gabriel. Since the other 2 members were beaten down from their leather straps or belts or what have you. Nexus stops at the ramp. Otunga makes his way down to the ring, so this is Otunga's initiation, as he has to take the big choke slam from Big Show along with a knockout punch. Okay, we get hype from John Cena's address tonight, and Morrison versus Sheamus. Then they go to commercial. Okay, back from commercial, and out comes John Morrison for the next match. And then comes Sheamus. The bell rings, and they go back and forth. Sheamus hits a big knee to the gut. Morrison goes down. Sheamus stomps away at Morrison and drops more knees. Sheamus with another knee to the gut for a 2 count. Sheamus continues to beat down on Morrison. Morrison tries to fight back, but Sheamus won't have it and gets another 2 count. More back and forth action. Morrison with 2 clotheslines and a big kick to the jaw. Then they go at it at the corner. Sheamus kicks Morrison's leg out from underneath him. Morrison counters. Sheamus with a big kick to the face. Morrison goes to the corner for the Starship Pain, but Sheamus stops him and dumps Morrison out to the floor. Morrison is out to the floor, and then they go to commercials. Back from break, Sheamus hits Morrison down on the mat, working on his arm. Morrison fights out of it, but Sheamus hits him with a big power slam for a 2 count. Sheamus works Morrison over on the apron now and takes it back in the ring for another 2 count. Morrison tries to kick him in the head, kick him from the mat, but Sheamus just stops him, goes back to work on the arm. And then they went commercial back from break. Sheamus has Morrison down on the mat, working on his arm. Morrison fights out, but Sheamus hits him with a big power slam for a 2 count. Sheamus works Morrison over on the apron and takes him back in the ring for another 2 count. Morrison tries to kick him from the mat, but Sheamus stomps him again and goes back to work on the arm. Morrison finally unloads on Sheamus in the corner. Sheamus charges but misses. This match was the longest of the evening. Morrison goes for the flash kick, but Sheamus ducks. Sheamus charges and Morrison dumps him over the ropes. Morrison flies over the ropes and Sheamus, but Sheamus hits him with a big knee to the gut in midair. Back in the ring now, Sheamus gets ready for the big kick. Morrison falls to the mat and Sheamus just kicks him in the back. Sheamus takes Morrison to the top. Morrison counters and sends Sheamus flying to the mat. Morrison comes out of nowhere with a running knee to Sheamus' face and gets the pinfall and the win. They go backstage with CM Punk, Heath Slater, and Justin Gabriel. Punk is holding 2 kendo sticks. He says this initiation will be them beating each other with the sticks, and until he tells them to stop. They hesitate for quite a while. This was actually boring. They tease even hitting him. He challenges to go ahead and hit him, which they don't, and they just drop the kendo sticks and walk off. They go to the Hall of Fame hype before going to commercial. Go to the ring with Jerry the King Lawler announcing the WWE's Hall of Fame and announces Shawn Michaels as the first inductee, first member of the 2011 class. We cut to a career highlight for Shawn Michaels. They go back to the arena and Shawn just a sexy boy music hits, and they go out to the stage and poses for the fans and his music. And pyro goes off. Shawn heads down to the ring and takes the mic, but doesn't get a chance to even speak as Alberto Del Rio, his music hits. Del Rio comes out and introduces himself, but everybody knows his name. He says Shawn used to be the showstopper, but isn't anymore. He says the people used to cheer Michaels, and this makes them start cheering him now. Del Rio says that he is the present and future of WWE. Shawn is history. He says Del Rio goes on talking until Shawn just lays him out with sweet chin music. Shawn's music hits and he dances around the ring, posing for the fans. Shawn takes Del Rio's scarf and puts it on, and he heads to the back, never even saying a word. Back from when they went commercial, they're back from the commercial. Miz is backstage looking at his WWE title. Alex Riley walks up and is excited about their match tonight. Miz isn't too happy that everyone is talking about Randy Orton becoming the #1 contender. Miz says people should be talking about him. He's upset about getting respect and wants to demoralize Lawler and Orton tonight. They go to the ring where Michael Cole is preparing to introduce John Cena. CM Punk appears standing on the top of the Titantron. Titantron's about 30 to 40 feet in the air, apparently. Punk, he teased a couple of times of jumping off. And Punk wants to talk about the new Nexus. He says Husky, McGillicuddy, and Otunga sacrifice themselves tonight and prove worthy. Punk says he is prepared to do the same tonight. Punk says his initiation will be the ultimate sacrifice. He teases about he's jumping off as he's wearing a shirt, but he's got the safety harness on underneath with a wire connected to it in the back. So he's just up there to tease. He says he will prove he was a member of Nexus and is their leader now. Punk asks the fans if he should dive off the Tron as they cheer. Punk asks him if he should break every bone in his body. And like I said, he just teases and they go to the back. He tells the fans how gullible they are, and he shows that he's wearing the harness under his t-shirt and two guys spotting him show up. Punk says that he is safer up there than anybody in their seats. Punk asks what kind of idiot jumps from the Tron. Punk then tells them to consider themselves initiated. Punk calls them the biggest mindless group of sheep and laughs. Punk's theme music hits and he poses on the top of the Tron. McGillicuddy, Harris, and Otunga all looking beat up and walking down the ramp as we go to replays of their initiation. After that, Punk is back down in the arena now as we see him making his way to the ring. Punk then takes a mic and starts laughing at the fans for thinking he was actually going to jump off the Tron. Punk then takes off his one shirt to reveal the safety harness again in front of the live fans and the TV as well. Punk says he is mentally superior and would never think of doing something like that. Punk says he doesn't need initiations. He is the leader of the new Nexus. He declares. Fans start chanting for Cena. Punk says Cena isn't there. He got rid of him. Cena then appears up on the big screen. Hey, Punk, I'm up here. Underneath where you were just standing. Okay. And they didn't give a report, but this is where I'm giving my report on what he actually said. And he basically challenges CM Punk next week to a match where he will return next week for some type of a match on Monday Night Raw for your main event next week, as it's in Little Rock. Prior to that event, I believe CM Punk might be taking the place of Wade Barrett in the match here live at the Raw World Tour. Alright, up next is The Miz and Riley versus Randy Orton and Jerry the King Lawler. Back from commercial, out comes WWE Champion The Miz with his tag team partner Alex Riley. Josh Matthews has joined Michael Cole on commentary since the King is wrestling in the match. Okay. Out comes the WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler to a nice reaction from his home state crowd. Randy Orton is out last and gets the biggest pop of the night besides Shawn Michaels. It's going to be Lawler and Riley starting out. Miz talks trash to Lawler and distracts him, allowing Riley to beat down Lawler, and he's tagged in for a bit of double teaming. Miz with a big right hand to Lawler's eye. Lawler fights back with a series of rights on Miz. Miz goes outside. Lawler chases after him. Lawler slams Miz's head into the announcer's table a few times and rams him back into the apron. Lawler tosses Miz into the steel cage, into the steel steps now. Lawler sends Miz back into the ring with a right hand. Miz catches him with a punch and tags in Riley. Lawler scoop slams Riley and tags in Orton. Orton comes in and unloads on Riley in the corner. Riley catches Orton with a kick and tags in Miz. Miz comes in, but Orton clotheslines him. Orton starts stomping Miz now. Lawler comes back in and hits Miz with right jabs. Lawler takes it to the corner and continues to control Miz with right hands. Miz drops Lawler with a boot to the face and mounts him with a series of right hands. Miz stomps away as the referee pulls him off. Miz with a headlock on Lawler. Miz continues to assault Lawler. Then they go to commercial. Back from commercial, Lawler is going at it with Riley in the ring. Riley charges shoulder first into the corner, and Lawler moves. Lawler drops Riley with another right hand and goes for the tag. Now, Orton comes in, but the referee didn't see the tag. Since Alex Riley was there, Miz comes in and steps in the ring just to distract the referee long enough. Okay. And Miz drops Orton off the apron to the floor. Miz goes for the skull crushing finale on Lawler, but Orton comes in from behind and drops him with an RKO. All while the referee is distracted by Riley. Lawler covers Miz, then only gets a 2 count after the RKO. Orton is tagged in and comes in to hit clotheslines at a power slam on Riley. Orton with his patented backbreaker now, and Orton catches Riley on the apron and brings him back in with a second rope DDT. Orton hits the mat, but gets back up when he sees Miz behind him. Riley is recovering and takes advantage. Riley charges Orton from behind, but surprise RKO. Orton stares down Miz some more. Then back steps all the way to Lawler, tags in. He walks back towards Miz, and Miz is just standing in the corner. He drops back down. Now Jerry King Lawler gets a 3 count. Yeah. In other words, Lawler got to the top rope, did his classic fist pop to the head, and then got the 3 count. Okay, after the match, Orton continues to stare right through the Miz as he picks up the WWE title and heads up the ramp. Riley's trying to recover on the floor, but is still down as Miz backs up the ramp. Cole and Matthews plug Punk versus Cena next week. Raw goes off the air with the stare down between Orton and Miz is still going on. There was supposed to be a dark match that hasn't been posted yet. It's supposed to be CM Punk versus Jerry King Lawler. And that's your WWE news for tonight. Thanks for watching and listening to my rant on WWE, and see you tomorrow night for SmackDown results, along with NXT, possible the rest of the. Okay, let me go back to the other 2 matches. There's a scheduled match for Superstars. It's an 8-man tag. I've forgotten who it is, but it's an 8-man tag, and there was another match scheduled. I'll give that all tomorrow night. Thanks for watching, and peace out.